Samson. Samson is a well-known biblical figure publicized for his great strength and long hair. This name Samson comes from the Hebrew word Shimshon, which means like the sun. The miraculous birth, exploits, failings and redemptive death of Samson is covered in the book of Judges from the chapter 13 to 16. The story of Samson and his unique life begins with the Philistines harassing those who lived in the southern part of ancient Israel. The Philistines were a warlike people, some of which were tall and strong, example Goliath, who dwelt on the land that belonged to the tribe of Judah. They were allowed to dominate part of God's people as punishment for their sins. God sends the angel of the Lord to a Danite woman to announce she will be healed of her barrenness. She and her husband Manoah are instructed to raise Samson as a Nazirite. This dedicated state of serving God is meant to last his entire life. The Lord, as the child grows up, not only blesses him but also begins to stir within Samson through the Holy Spirit the desire to fulfill his will. Samson greatly desired to marry a Philistine woman of Timnath. A young lion attacks him as he travels to the city to take her for a wife. In his first notable act of strength, he, with his bare hands, quickly tears up and kills the hungry lion. During his wedding celebration, Samson offers his guests a valuable prize if they answer a riddle. Stumped, the guests resort to having his new wife pursue the answer from him. Samson, enraged after discovering he had been tricked into divulging the riddle's answer, kills 30 Philistines in order to provide the promised prize. 3,000 men of Judah decide to turn Samson over to the Philistines in order to avoid retribution upon their tribe for his deeds. He seizes on the opportunity, however, to get close to Israel's enemy. Once he is turned over to them, he finds the jawbone of a newly dead ass and uses it to slay 1,000 men. The people of Gaza discover that Samson is in the city utilizing the service of a prostitute. They quickly decide to secretly surround him and wait until morning in order to take his life. He decides, however, to leave the city at the midnight with a spectacular show of strength. While exiting Gaza, he tears loose the city's gate along with its posts and bar and deposits them at the top of a hill outside the city. Desperate to stop Samson, 5 Philistine leaders decide to employ the service of a harlot named Delilah to discover how to render him powerless. His lust and weakness for women, coupled with her persistence, pays off. He learns from him that the source of his power is his dedicated service to God, symbolized by his unshaven head. Delilah, as Samson sleeps, has his hair shaved off, and with his Nazirite vow now broken, he loses all his superhuman strength. The brutal Philistines take him prisoner, grow out his eyes, bind him and force him to grind in prison. The last act of Samson is to call upon God's strength one last time, so that the Philistines may be judged for what they have done to him. Standing with outstretched arms against the main supporting pillars of a pagan temple dedicated to Dagon, he pushes with all his might and causes the entire building to collapse. Not only does he kill himself, but also at least 3,000 Philistines and their leaders. Even as Solomon was blessed to be immensely wealthy, unlike any other, Samson was endowed during his life with miraculous physical strength unlike any before or since. He served as a judge of the southern and western part of Israel for 20 years. The lesson we learn from the life of Samson is that sin binds us, then it blinds us. In truth, sin will take us beyond than we may intend to go. It will hold us longer than we may intend to stay. Furthermore, sin will cost us more than we intend to pay. We must heed to stern warning. Above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23.